If it is anything to go by, I am the first MP after elections to make sure I stop the galamsey. I am the MP that has been banished by my chiefs because I am fighting galamsey. You see, the issue is not about illegal mining. We are talking about pollution of water bodies and degrading of forest reserves. It doesn't matter if it is illegal or illegal, because you have people who have concession to enter the forest. So you can't claim that one to be illegal, but he is destroying the forest. That is the issue at hand now. Most of the court cases are not being handled well because you have given prospective license to the person to go and look for gold. How does he look for the gold? He must dig. He must mine to find the gold before he can do the large scale mining. That is why when you send a person to court, because I was a former DCE, and when you send the cases to court, they ask you have given the person prospecting license. What does that mean? It means he is to look for gold, and the person is looking for gold, and you say he shouldn't mine. That is one challenge. Then you get a concessionaire with a large-scale concession with prospecting license. Every 5 years, he changes the name of the company. There is a company who has held a mining concession for the past 30 years and has never done any mining. So you go there and they are the same people doing the small-scale mining. Meanwhile, large-scale concession is not to do small-scale mining. So you will see that there will be that loggerheads between the indigents who want to do the small scale against the one having the large scale concession. The same large scale concessionaire will be doing the small scale mining, which is against the law. So like the earlier speakers alluded to, if they can see those portions for the small scale mining, and even if possible, take away, because you can't hold one concession for more than 30 years without any diligent mining or whatever. Then he will be there, oh, it's my concession. Then he is doing illegal activities against the small scale miners. It makes it very difficult. So I'm happy Minister is blessing the MPs this morning that we should take the lead. In my quest to fight the galamsey activities, the issue was, we Nanano, we have the land. You as an MP don't have the land. So now as we sit here, people are calling me, people are in the forest. I tell them the land belongs to Nanano, so they should see Nanano. It makes it very difficult for you as a leader to take charge of some of these issues. So, Minister, my issue is before him. So, from here, we'll go to the office so that we look at how Nanano will reverse the banishment so that I can continue to fight my fight against the galamsey. I have local task force people who are ready to fight the galamsey without even the security. Wow. We need only to empower them. If they get the blessing of the minister, we don't need the military or whoever. We can fight the galamsey in my jurisdiction. Thank you very much.
Our colleagues again, I think that was a very good. I think the takeaway from that discussion is something that I am also from a mining constituency. And this issue is very important because, and I think Parliament must probably revisit this matter. A typical mining company has been given a huge concession, maybe 60% of the constituency. They've mined in one area for say 10 years, they've abandoned it, and they've moved to another area. They have no intention of coming back to the area. Yet, anytime the community goes there to try to do anything there, they are shot at or they are arrested. constantly you see those arrests. And I think there has to be a discussion about these areas and how it is seeded back to the communities to also do some work. We've begun that discussion already. Because, for example, I've asked the mining companies, every university has a primary school. They nurture it, they support it, the schools, and they feed it to the university. How many mining companies are so interested in establishing what we hope to do, which is a small-scale mining cooperatives? That will have more than 2,000 of the community members. They themselves will support them with the safety guidelines and the training that is needed to really dispose of waste and manage that mining properly and make them feel that they have their support. This is probably one of the root causes of the tensions we see in these communities, because often the communities don't feel that they are being treated right. And so I think we began this engagement. The mining companies worry is that as the community keep coming to those concessions, then they are moving closer to where their operations are taking place. So they think that if they give them this one today, tomorrow they say they want this one. And so they are also worrying about that. But that is where we all have to make sure we engage them and meet them with them, one way or the other. Because if you have chopped and somebody is sitting there, he has not chopped, his face is not the same, the face is not the same. One way or the other, we have to find a way to make sure we engage them. And as the presentation, you saw that all these illegal miners are digging everywhere because they don't know where their gold is. How do we make sure that we can locate mineralized areas and then put them there? Because if they are sure that the place has the gold they need, they will all stay there for years. And then we can all have our peace of mind. So that is the process. That is also something we are looking at. But more importantly, engaging the mining companies to work with the communities, give them back some concessions, and allow a peaceful coexistence. It's a good proposal. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. So what I want to do is, I want to ask Mr. Osiakwan to clarify the things we put on the screen. Are these things recommendations or these are actually actions that are being taken? You understand? Because we invited MPs here soliciting their support. Mr. Osiakwan, just to come back, I want to just ask you quickly. Deploy military to support all these nice things we've written here. Are there things you're already doing? Okay, Minister. Yes.
So I think that these are immediate things that we laid out. Obviously, when he was doing the presentation, very unexplained reason, the military was directed to move out of all the forest reserves. And since 2022, there was no military presence in any forest reserve. So the illegal miners began to have a field day. It actually jumped the overtake of these 43 forest reserves. And so within that 2 years, there has been massive. It was as if the government was saying, just go there and do it as quickly as you can. So there has to be a change. So what we are doing now is that basically engaging the military and the police to basically begin. Obviously, we can't talk about the security operations here, but what I know is that we have begun the process of taking back our forests. And I can proudly say that thanks to the military and joint effort of police, we've taken back the biggest one, which is the shelter plant. And in the coming weeks, we have been working on other operations. This one is already ongoing. We are beginning to, as they talk about the river bodies that are really in the bad shape. How do we clean them up? You know, there are blockades in the river. If you look at Angola, different locations have been blocked. The Galamsey, if you see the wickedness of the habit here, they block them. So the water doesn't flow straight to the sea. So you see it right here. If it was flowing, it will go and then within a short time it will be blue. But there's no way. So we need to really clear the blockade And then make sure that as we are cleaning it constantly, the military cannot stay there permanently. How do we make sure that we get the same people in that area, in the localized area, train them, empower them to understand that this is their life and that they should protect it at their own communities. That's why those river guards will come in. We've already begun the process with the military.
Holistic review
of the mining leases. I mean, let me ask the question. Why do we give people prospecting licenses? If we know where the mineralized areas are, we've already done the thing. We know what the gold is. We'll give you a prospecting license. We'll give you real license. So I think we have to move to a place where we will empower the geological survey to identify mineralized areas enough that we give licenses. Because the prospecting license is what starts the problem. The first thing you go, you get prospecting license. Then they say they are going to do prospecting. They go there and they start digging quick. Because you need to get the gold first to go and buy all the equipment. So they enter now, then they start. Then people have licenses and they've not been using it for years. One company, one person, you have like 20 small-scale mining licenses. Why? If you put all the concession he has together, that's large scale. But we don't have the categories of medium, we don't have medium scale. So the best thing I can do is I can't do large scale, so I'll get more mining licenses. So we are doing a recategorization to make sure that we can actually move back. The other thing that I must say is here is that the mining sector is one area that as a country we have really not done well. Just think about it. Ask how many Ghanaians can we point to that have the capacity now to own large-scale mining land? Why? If you go to every large-scale mining company, there's no white man there. It's the Ghanaians who are doing everything. But we have not created the necessary environment conditions to allow Ghanaians to have the capacity to own these leases. And I think it's time for us to look at that. Because the real problem, 2024, we got $11 billion, $11 billion of gold. This is the official channel, so I'm not talking about the illegal one. But you ask the question, how much did government get? And how much was translated into value for our country? So those are the questions you need to be asking to say that, okay, so this big volume, how many Ghanaians have been empowered? And I'll use the mining sector and the oil sector. You started the oil industry and within 5 years, you have Ghanaians who were in 5 years were able to be in the industry and make about $10 billion in contract. Why is it not happening in the mining sector? There are serious questions we must ask.
Maybe that's why they put you there.
Well, so we are talking.
Point number 4, repeal LI 246.
Yes, the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, working with the EPA, is really fast advancing this process. They've already agreed the Attorney General. And the good news is that this is basically attacking the President's power to give mining concession in forest. The President said, take my power away. You should come for the President. He says we should amend it and take his power away, because where we are in our history of what is happening to our forest, he doesn't even need that power to give any more license. So that process is so members of parliament, I'm sure you should be getting ready. The only problem about this amendment is that we are amending that portion. Because if we repeat the whole airline, the main part of that airline talks about the EPA's power to enter the forest to regulate. So we have to just simply amend the power of giving license and allow the EPA to still have the power to supervise and regulate. So we are, the Attorney General working with the EPA and the Ministry of Environment is handling that one.
Minister, sorry I'm stressing you. Before you go, you've done the first four. The next one we'll discuss. But there's a question I have to ask you.
Yes.
There was a big call for state of emergency in forest reserves or river bodies or places where destructive mining is going on.
Yes.
I didn't hear Mr. Isiakwan talk about state of emergency, and I didn't hear him talk about it. Is it off the table completely?
It is not. But this is what is happening.
Thank you. Colleagues, this is a very timely discussion. It is good that our senior colleague, the Honorable Minister, has started this discussion early in the day, early in the period that we have to reset this country. Honorable Buah, thank you very much. My worry is the turbidity levels. They are scary. There's a limit to how much chemicals we can use to treat water. And we get to a time when even the chemicals that the Ghana Water Company and Community Water may have will not even be able to treat this water. Let's be real. In this room, aside from members of parliament, I see a lot of media. Please, this is the time to sing this song together and collectively and put politics aside. Otherwise, we'll come to a time when we'll be importing water. And I'm not sure you have the funds to even do that. And we should not even get to that point. So thank you very much for this initiative. My Minister for Works, Housing and Water Resources supports this initiative totally. And we'll work together to make sure that we are able to clean up this unfortunate mess that we have at hand. Thank you.
Our win, because our win is in that.
Proper documentation. I know Minerals Commission is here, EP is here, so that at least within our community we make sure we bring them under an umbrella. Then we can ensure that their activities are being regulated. When that is done, I believe that the initiative by the minister and then the president will go a long way to make sure that we eradicate most of these activities. In my own opinion, we are the representatives of the government. We are there to support the minister as well. And since the activities are happening in our constituency, we have a full control to make sure that if there are any illegalities, we are the first point of call just to make sure that we kill it.
Thank you. Let me come to former DC, current MP for Prestea.
Yeah, my brother, I've already sent a signal down there that if you know you are operating on river bodies or in the forest, you have to pack bag and baggage and leave. Nobody will support that action. But I must also plead with the minister. Minister, from 1990, in our quest to attract more investors into the mining business, I'm sure our laws were lower. They were very liberal at that time. So that attracted a lot of mining companies in Tarkwa and Prestea Universe. And more than 400 over kilometers square land are occupied by these big mining companies. My plea is that most of the land they are occupying are low-graded areas that they will never mine. And there are also abandoned pits that they will never go back and then do any serious mining there. With the Minerals Commission and other entities, if you can seed off those areas, register them for the small-scale mining in cooperatives, then we can monitor them. And that is also a signal that if you are working on a river body or in the forest, that is no-go area. So this is my plea to the minister.
Wonderful. So I will end with Ebenezer Kweku Addo, MP for Isutifri.